In Dubai called Wander with Neda. I meet people from all over the world who come to visit the city and are seeking a local cultural experience, not just seeing the key sites, but also immersing themselves in the stories behind these sites with a local friend in the city. Now, the idea behind Wander with Neda started when I had many friends and classmates visiting from abroad who wanted to come to Dubai and experience the city with me as a friend here. So I love to take them out, show them around, and I found that many of their itineraries generally were very much similar. So a lot of trips to the Dubai Mall, the Burjes, and then the excitement usually stopped there. They would always come up to me and ask, what else is there to do here? And so, having lived here for over 25 years, I know that there are so many places in Dubai that are not as frequented by tourists, and even if they are, they're not told the stories that are behind them. And so that's the idea behind Wander with Neda. Now, the first thing that I did was I took a look at the market, the current market. So Dubai in numbers. So Dubai, needless to say, is a very popular tourist destination city. Last year alone, there were over 14 million visitors, and that number definitely continues to grow, especially with the advent of certain projects that are in the making, which is such as the Expo 2020, which alone expects around 25 million visitors. In terms of the trends also, studies show that tourists are seeking a more cultural travel experience. And they're also willing to pay top dollar for it. So sightseeing is actually the #1 item that travelers are willing to splurge on when they visit new destinations. That being said, there's definitely a great opportunity there in terms of the international market. In terms of the local market as well, you might know that Dubai is home to a majority expat population. So 92% of the residents are expats who, like myself, move here from a different country and call Dubai home for several years. And so it's also, I think, safe to say that we're also tourists in our own homes. So that's Dubai numbers. I later studied the tourism market in Dubai. And I found a particular trend was that the travel itineraries in these malls, in these tours, was that they would focus almost exclusively on malls, on the bridges, on the beaches, and on desert safaris. I found that it was a lot of bulk tourism, so very crowded tours, 20 plus people, less intimate, very much point and see, so self-guided, a lot of audio tours, point and see, very fast fact scripts. And also, a lot of the tour guides that were on these trips were also outsourced, so not employed by the company, but employed for the purpose of the tour. So that's the opportunity that I saw. I found that I could target the customers who wanted a focus on local culture and heritage, smaller groups so that I could ensure that they received the personal attention, less glitzy sites, more interesting stories, and also curated excursions. And finally, ensuring that the guides were well vetted and top-notch quality. And so Wander with Neda, the aim of it was to establish a recognized and trusted brand that would be sought by travelers coming to Dubai and would basically promise and deliver top-quality tours. And so this is one of my products. So my product is a service. It's the tours around the city. This particular itinerary is a sample itinerary, which was my pilot tour called Good Morning Dubai, which was a 4-hour walking tour of the city. So I personally had handpicked and studied vigorously the destinations that we would be visiting that are listed here on the itinerary. And what I do is I meet the people at a meeting point in Deira, and then make our way throughout the city, of course, from Deira to Dubai by Abra, in the 4 hours, and then finish it off with lunch or dinner in an old Dubai favorite spot. This tour is a walking tour, like I said. I think that one of the things that Dubai lacks here is that kind of local pedestrian feel. Everyone's in their cars, there's a lot of traffic sometimes. You kind of skip out or miss out on so many beautiful bits of the city. And of course, this part of the city is also not very drivable. It's all very pedestrian friendly. And so that's the reason behind that. Now, in terms of my giveaways, I also provide my wanderers with giveaways when I meet them on my tours. So if you now open some of the bags, I'll tell you a little bit about them. So the white paper that's folded, this is a brochure that I've designed in newspaper format. It tells you a little bit about Dubai, it tells you about the expo, the currency, facts about the city. I talk about who the sheikhs are, some of the cuisine, and of course some Dubai essentials that I think everyone should take home. So that's one of the things that I give away. The other items that you'll find in the bag, one is a map of Dubai, another is a small pocket guidebook, which people can also carry with to find other places around the city. And finally, there's also a small bag of dates, which I think is a token of the Emirati and Arabian hospitality that exists here. Of course, also to keep them energized through my trip before we make it to the final stop. So this is just some of the other materials you'll see, such as the postcard. This is just marketing materials that I also use to advertise in hotels. So hotels, I'm sure you've seen sometimes by the concierge desks, there are always these stacks of brochures where they basically tell people where to go if they wanted to take a tour in the city. So this tour, just a tiny glimpse of it. Of course, it does extend on. Like I said, we visit almost 10 stops along the way, and then ended with a lunch at one of Dubai's best eats. So many people basically have been on my tour. Many of them have been on Good Morning Dubai, and the feedback that I've received has been fantastic, and has also been captured on TripAdvisor, which is the #1 travel website in terms of references. So I've captured some of them here, but you can also view them obviously online on the website and check them out yourself. The feedback has been, like I said, fantastic in terms of not just the first-time visitors to Dubai, but also repeat visitors and people that actually live in the city. So people that have also maybe grown up here, come here also for a little 1 year, and have also loved the bits that they've seen and the information and the facts that I've taken them home with. Now, what I had to do was I wanted to basically position myself as a company. So you've seen probably this in my business plan. This is a summarized version. Some of these slides are I've also amended. But basically I've studied the competitive landscape. And basically the competitive landscape that you'll see here, on the far left is the budget and mass. So those are pretty much the big bus tour types. The ones on the far right are the premium and top luxury, and those are the seaplane tours, the platinum safaris, and also some of the limo-led tours. And then finally, the affordable, luxury, and niche, which is exactly where I want to position Wander with Neda as a brand. It is shopped by a large market segment that are looking to make the most out of their travel dollar. It is also has room for market entry and also allows for brand building. And so that's where I would like to be as a company. That's where I would like other people to see me.
So the first time I kind of read this brief on Wander with Neda, the first thing I thought of was Frying Pan Adventures.
Okay.
So I just want to point that out. So I'm glad you have that in there, but we'll get to it a bit. So.
Okay, all right, sure. So this is also a very kind of, there are special interest tours as well as niche tours. So that's where Frying Pan as well as Tastecapade, which are also food tours around the city. Now I'm going to take a look at who are my customers. So of the top 20 source markets for visitors to Dubai, these are 6 of the top 20 selected English-speaking countries. Why I've chosen these countries is that all the marketing efforts led by Dubai Department of Tourism is towards these groups. These are the ones that are making most trips and travels to Dubai, and so I wanted to ensure that my marketing efforts in terms of my ads would be targeted towards this geographic area in general.
You speak French, right?
Now, where do I distribute or where do I sell my tours? WanderWithNeda.com. So I sell direct sales through my online website, which I've designed, is up and running, very easy to use, bookable system, very simple.
What's
and
your
receive
e-payment?
So right now all the sales are made in cash in person. In terms of e-payment gateway, I'm working on basically my corporate account, and I'm going to be using PayPal as the provider to make e-payments online.
Okay.
Yeah. So to elaborate on that, because what I wanted to do was to ensure that people also that were coming here wanted to sort of guarantee some of their bookings, wanted to make sure that they were all set, ready to go. And so I thought that this would be a good way to do it. Of course, setting up a corporate account here involves a series of steps. So hopefully I've set up the account. I'm just waiting to get the details so that I can have PayPal set up and ready to withdraw funds from. Also, I make my sales through other travel websites. So I've now set up on YOLO Guides, which is another travel provider, and also hopefully going to be selling on Viator, which is a partner of TripAdvisor as well. Now, in terms of marketing, I need to be marketing myself left, right, and center. And so there's definitely different tools that need to be leveraged in order to encourage engagement with the brand. So in terms of social media, my Facebook and Instagram pages are up and running. I post almost daily with not just photos, but also events around the city, as well as information about the travel industry. In terms of PR, like I said, TripAdvisor, the #1 marketing free website that allows people to basically visit my site and then see more information about it. Blogger focus, so inviting bloggers to feature me in their writings and talk about me. Features in magazines and radio. I was actually invited 2 weeks ago by Dubai Eyes 103.8 to talk about Wander with Neda. So I had a 1-hour podcast with Dr. James Pikeway to talk about the business and how it came to be. Received a lot of fantastic feedback, which is great. Digital marketing, so we have the unpaid and the paid. I'm going to talk a little bit about the paid later on. My website, suppliers or partnerships, and then finally the market research. Now, going back to TripAdvisor, there's a TripAdvisor effect. Why am I focusing specifically on this? 73% of travelers cite TripAdvisor as an important source of influence when they are making their travel plans. So very, very important. Some people go and review places specifically before they make the booking. It's a free marketing tool. It offers fantastic market visibility. It provides a podium for me to respond to both positive and negative reviews, so that way I can manage my company image. And then finally, it provides an opportunity for me to understand the strengths and weaknesses of my business and continuously improve my services. In terms of the digital marketing, which was the second part I was wanting to talk about, there is the unpaid and the paid. Now, in order to be featured high up there, I need to first of all get there and then find a way to stay there. And so that's of course expensive. It's expensive to buy a placement on these tools. So what I've done basically is I've put together an aggressive initial marketing spend in order to make the dent in the market so that I can position Wander with Neda where I want it to be.
When would you want to start doing that?
So I've already started that. So like I said, my company is 2 months old. I've already started with the marketing. I basically have a current budget of around 2,000 dirhams per month across both. Google AdWords is more expensive. It is around 4 dirhams per click. I don't know how familiar you are, but you basically get charged by the clicks that people make. And so the average price is around 4 dirhams, whereas on Facebook and Instagram it's around 1. The financial model that I've put together, this is based on a preliminary market analysis as well as industry analysis as well. As you see here, I basically tried my best to minimize my fixed costs as much as possible. So minimizing my office rent as well as my license costs, because that's a recurring thing that happens year on year. In terms of marketing, like I explained earlier, I have a budget of around 2,000 per month, plus or minus, and so my marketing costs are around 26,000, and they are expected to decrease as a percentage of sales year on year. Now, my average price per product is around 365. I have a pretty high profit margin. Cost of goods sales is 25%, which allows me to break even at approximately 175 wanderers. So after 175, I become profitable. And that is something that I definitely think can be achieved even within the first year, where I've set a target which is actually almost double that in terms of the tourists. Now, these are my numbers. In terms of the Expat Woman of Tomorrow competition, the competition, as you know, the Woman of Tomorrow offers me advertising on Expat Woman, which is a fantastic way for me to connect with women in the region, and then of course in turn their families and friends. Also, the Emirates NBD is going to be so helpful in terms of getting me in the push or the pull marketing that I intend to indulge in terms of my marketing. So in order to get there, become visible, have people reach out to me, and then in turn provide the service that I promised to do.
So, a couple things. First of all, where's your content marketing? So I visited your website. Are you gonna, what are you doing in terms of content marketing? I'm not talking about Google AdWords.
Okay.
Content marketing.
So the marketing that I've done, the website is basically my tours, my products, what I'm selling. In terms of the other stuff, in terms of my, I have the ads, like I said, on Facebook. I have the ads on Instagram that are running periodically.
That's not content marketing.
What are you referring to?
Like when you, for example, write an article for a travel magazine and then somehow plug your business.
Well, I haven't done that just yet because
okay. So that should have been developed that footprint and like that on your blog and stuff prior to you running these ads. Because like I went to your Instagram, I went to your Facebook. I think you have an amazing eye for marketing. I think you really nailed your visuals, your presentation, it's mobile first, so on and so forth. And I think that you actually have the professional background and you owned this, okay? But I think all of this expertise could have been applied to a business model that doesn't revolve around you as the key on, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So like basically, what are you gonna do if you get sick and you have 4 tours booked?
Okay, yeah, no, definitely, that's a great question.
Like, what's your answer to that?
So basically, like I said, so I've done the program, the one basically to establish the license itself. And so with that, I basically have a lot of peers that we're also obtaining the license with. And so there are certain people that I've also selected. They're not going to be employed directly by me as Wander with Neda. My actual company name is Wander with LLC, not Wander with Neda, because the plan is later on that people are not just going to be wandering with Neda, they're also going to be wandering with other people under the parent company.
But
and
you know
so,
what kind of vetting process that would entail?
Yeah, no, I definitely.
I don't know if Wander with X person is the same as Wander with Neda. I personally would be like, well, I'm not going to get Neda. Like, I don't know if I really want to book this.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
One thing that, a lot of feedback that I've gotten from a lot of the people that have visited my tours is that they read about me and then read about my kind of
That's
about
right.
me page and were like, oh, we want to meet this person.
And so that's like the cult of personality, which you are wielding very cleverly for your business model.
Yeah.
But that's also a very dangerous business model.
Yeah, no, and I
You know
completely
what I mean?
understand that, yeah.
So like me as the face of entrepreneur, I often send Pam, AB, whoever else, because I don't want them to think entrepreneur is Fidel. Because entrepreneur isn't Fidel, it's a brand.
Yeah, exactly.
So Wander with Neda is Neda.
Yeah.
So you're like I said, I think you have an uncanny handle on marketing, and I think you have a level of expertise that can pretty much make any business model work, but I don't find this scalable at all.
Yeah, I think we would decide about scalability, by just the title, it's your business,
Yeah.
and you obviously have developed a high reputation, but if you can tell us how you believe that can be scalable from where you are at the moment, and what are the steps to make that scalable, because it's difficult to see those kind of steps going forward. How do you see the steps are to make your business now scalable?
So, like I said, so over the years, I definitely will grow, and not just in terms of size or revenue, I'm talking in terms of numbers as well. So there are going to be many tourists, and of course, I'm only one person, and I won't be able to cater to every single person that passes. So the idea is to basically develop a sort of pool of talent that I personally select. So like I said, I have basically gone through the program. I've met many of the other tour guides. I've established close connections with them. They are also out there in the market, but they're not working for their own companies, they're working for other companies. And so the idea is, during my talks with them, is to basically ensure that they're also on board. Later on, it's not going to happen anytime immediately. I personally don't have the resources to basically cater to their...
But you're building like a Nigella thing. So
Yeah.
when people want Nigella to cook for them, it's Nigella. They don't want Nigella's hand-picked sous chef or whatever.
basically say that I'm the only asset that's going to basically be taking this forward. It's
But right
not,
now, that's what it is.
but that's
Yeah,
obviously,
you know
I
what I
can
mean?
see why that's very apparent now, but the idea is that this is going to be not just, like I said, your typical tour. This is going to be an informative tour. I want people to go back home educated, having learned about the city.
I think we get all that.
Mhm.
It's actually the transition of the brand away from NADA to what it will be going forward. Because the longer you're out there as NADA, that's the name they associate. At some stage, you've got to swallow and say, there's going to be other tour guides. So what is the company name going to be? Because at the moment, it is very much focused around you.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
that
I-
transition.
No,
Yeah.
you went to IE.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly. So you must have learned about startups and viability and stuff like that.
Of course.
I know that this is in their curriculum.
Yeah.
When people look at your business model to decide whether or not they give you money, one of the first things they ask themselves is, can this scale? And the next is it sustainable?
Yeah.
If Neda decides to take a 3-month break because she needs to like regroup,
Mhm.
the sole founder and the face and the brand
Yeah.
is defunct.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Nobody would Neda, and I really like her look, and she looks like she knows what she's doing, and that's the kind of person that I want to take me around this city. I don't care who Bill is. I don't care if she trained Bill.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I get what you mean, yeah.
Give you a microcosm.
Yeah.
When people ask me to speak, okay, at an event,
Mhm.
and I say, oh no, one of my XYZ staff can speak, they're not happy with that, even though my staff are running entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And AB represents a huge brand, but they don't want him. They asked for me.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
So imagine how that's going to affect you in a financial way. It's going to kick you in the ass.
Okay.
Next thing, where did you get these images from?
So they're images that I've gotten purchased and then basically just converted to get into detail. But
Okay, so you have the IP rights for this.
yeah.
Okay, good. Is there supposed to be any citations anywhere?
So these, I mean, I've cited sort of the speaker list is.
No, I mean, is there supposed to be any like legal citations attached to
No.
these images? Okay, good. Next, this Sheikh H Zayed, that's wrong. So like, I mean, you have a really strong handle. You can put together a business plan that's sick. But like this kind of stuff, for somebody who's looking to fund you, this is a liability. They'd be like their handle, like their title is reversed. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. This.
Sorry, what do you mean by titles are reversed? Okay.
HH Sheikh, not
Yeah.
Sheikh HH.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
In terms of
Okay,
the
so if I was gonna fund something that has a heavy IP content,
Yeah.
which is like this, because you're gonna have to do a lot of content marketing to keep yourself afloat, I look for your handle on IP.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, you source these pictures, you purchase them, awesome. Next thing, how is the content presented? So like quickly just getting the leader of the country's handle or like
Yeah.
royal whatever designation reversed, not so good. Like this doesn't look like you put it together as much as this does. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I was talking specifically just about the photos, by the way.
No, I know. But then I moved on. So like Sheikh H Muhammad,
Yeah.
H Sheikh
The names,
Muhammad.
yeah.
Yeah. So just these kind of small details. When your business is built on content development, look first that your content is perfect. But by the way, I think this is amazing. And I think, like I said, that you have a handle on marketing that I never see in startup founders.
Did you identify people that, if you want to scale at one point, did you already identify the profile of people that you want to
The
have
people
on
that I
board?
want, exactly, yeah. So like I said, so I've definitely vetted them during the process, so during the course that I've had to take with them.
Yeah.
So I have a few people that I have in mind. Like I said, they've already established themselves in the market through other companies, so I know that they're good to go. And like I said, I've personally seen them. I have a very kind of high bar for the kind of quality that I think needs to be represented, and so I think that that's definitely going to be represented if I add them into my tour.
As freelance or as a
Well, I think
employees?
I would initially maybe freelance them initially, depending on the demand that there is in the market. But then I think having them on board would be a fantastic opportunity to kind of have them associated with the brand and kind of build the Airbnb of tour guides, like I just described. So I want to make sure that this is, first of all, a trusted source for people to go onto the website, select the tours that they like, whether it's in Dubai, whether it's in
So in
another.
5 years, where do you want to see your business model? What am I looking at? If I say this is Nada's company in 5 years, where's the business? Where do you see ideal case scenario? How many employees? Based? What cities? Go.
So the idea is now for the next 5 years, I think that kind of keeping it around Dubai would be ideal because I haven't explored other markets. There are different requirements. I've studied some of them, but for example, requirements in Europe are much more stringent than they are in Dubai. So regulations is definitely something I need to take into account. So Dubai for now, but I do plan to sort of expand, like I said, in terms of getting on more tour guides on board so that we can cater as a company to larger groups. Not just tourists, but also I'm also targeting kind of a different angle as well, targeting schools, so kind of having them, bringing them on school trips. And so it's not just for the people that are incoming, but also people that are here, whether they're expats or part of organizations such as class trips or company outings,
So
basically.
you can do this.
Yeah. So
And given the fact that you might have employees, how are you actually going to have a business model that takes that downtown
Yeah.
to account?
no, that's a great question. I completely understand. I've lived here for many, many years, and I know it gets hot. No one wants to be out there in the middle of smackdown summer. So the idea is that then during the summer months, there is going to be transportation provided for summer months. Kind of also have already understood the fact that the climate is going to be hotter. A lot of people do their personal research before coming, and so they already kind of have an idea of what it's going to be like. And I'm making sure that I take it to the next level by ensuring that they're comfortable. Transportation will be provided at certain locations, and that the places that I've chosen or handpicked are also basically air conditioning friendly in that sense. So
Eating spot. I mean, are you getting any kickback from the restaurant owner and the fact you're taking good?
No. I don't get any kickbacks from them. I mean, they're very. It's a company that's been there for a restaurant that's been there for around 40 years. The vibe itself alone is just fantastic. I don't get any kickbacks. It's not like I've personally, chosen this place and I'm only going there because I'm getting
So
discounts.
Neda, the thing is, like, that's ethical, yes, but what he's saying is, what are your verticals? Get it?
Okay.
What other revenue streams could you potentially be exploring that you're not? That's where he's going.
Retailers.
So yes, we know you love this restaurant, but at the end of the day, you're bringing them X amount of people who would never see this restaurant.
Yeah.
So how come that's not a vertical for you to profit from, right?
Yeah.
Compared to other countries. It's cheap in the sense as in, you go to a museum, you're not paying the same, let's say, $100 that you go to pay into the Louvre.
Yeah.
Here, you pay 3 dirhams to get into the museum. So in terms of my costs, they really are at a minimal. I've definitely kind of pushed it to the extent where I'm basically trying to achieve the lowest cost, but also achieving the kind of maximum experience that people will get out of it.
But in terms of, this is a business, you want to maximize your revenue as much as
Yeah.
possible. I mean, if you're taking something like this as well, you're advertising, other, the entertainment.
Exactly.
No revenue streams,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I understand that.
And that covers some of your costs when you can't be doing your full tours in the off seasons.
Yeah.
At least you're getting some other revenues come through as well.
And that would probably inspire more investor confidence as well, by the way, because you could say, I'm not just making this like 100 dirhams per tour or whatever it is, okay? The price is immaterial. I'm also making X, Y, Z revenue streams,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, so I agree, and one of the items that I've explored particularly was hotels. So kind of that's an alternative kind of marketing stream to get through to hotels because they're the ones that kind of recommend me to their guests. And so I've approached this because I think that it's a great way for me to also cut back on my marketing expenses. But I found that hotels, to give you an idea, are not, they've already they have established their suppliers, they even have desks for their suppliers in the hotels, so it's difficult to do so.
Go to stage beyond,
Yeah,
go
I
to the
think-
DMC, Destination Management Company.
concierge.
Exactly, so
Yeah.
so right now for the in the Arabian travel market, this was a great opportunity for me to establish these connections. I went there, presented my company, my ideas, tried to get through to these guys because I know that I'm going to have to sidetrack these hotels in order to get there.
And I think you are not expensive enough. I
Right.
would, to be with you, I would pay more.
What's your pricing structure?
Yeah, it's 375, right? Average.
365, yeah.
Like if you provide something with an insight from someone that, most of the tourist guides that are your type, people that you educated, you can talk with, a lot of expat women,
Yeah.
they were not raised in Dubai.
Mm.
You know things about Dubai that are much more amazing than anyone that are in the city for 5 years.
Yeah.
So even if you can combine with going to the Sheikh Mohammed Cultural Center or provide an insight, this is what people are. They prefer to pay over 500 dirham but have something unique that
Yeah.
you don't find with any other tour.
Yeah.
So if you target a part that looks like a tailored experience and personal thing, I would make it a little bit more expensive.
More expensive.
Also, you select the people you have on board.
Yeah.
And I think you can scale. You can scale if you train the same kind of people that are passionate like you. But definitely the title was an
Yeah.
issue.
It's difficult
the
to
name,
do so
yeah.
when people can also go online on Arabian Adventures and find a tour for 160. And
Yeah,
so
but
It
Arabian
doesn't matter.
Adventure.
Pricing structure is one of the really key elements in every single business
Yeah.
that will really make or break you.
Yeah.
So you need to research everything you can about pricing structure and adapt and adopt.
Yeah.
Okay?
Maybe
Yeah.
you tied up with luxury. For example, my company tied up with luxury concierge.
Okay.
With people actually they don't care about the price.
Mhm.
What they want is huge, amazing service, professional people that like you can answer any question and adapt quickly.
I'm a customer. I would be
Yeah,
your
me
potential
too.
client and I wouldn't care about the price.
Yes, I prefer to pay a little bit more and then
And get something good.
Yeah, something good.
So your pricing, what she's saying, go back to that, research pricing structures, go
Yeah.
on even our website, go on any Inc, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, Business Insider, research pricing structures, and then, adapt and adopt.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because she's right, you're underselling. You could be making more money.
Yeah,
I don't know. I want to believe in you because I think you actually have everything, including a very dynamic personality, and that's primarily what it takes to make a business based on the cult of personality work. Like, but I don't see it sustainable and I don't see it scalable because it's all hinged on you. It's like me launching business hinged on me. Yes, I know that I can tour and speak at 50 places and get paid for it. Am I going to be able to sustain that? No.
I see.
That's just the vibe I'm getting from your
Travel
branding.
blogger?
Yeah. I wouldn't even know. Walk with Netta, I'm a travel blogger who takes people on tours. Bad positioning, but Netta is great positioning. The idea is great, but it's not sustainable. It's not going to inspire funding, and it's also going to confuse people when you try to bring on Bill, Jack, and Sammy to help you give tours. Okay, so that's where we're going with this, basically, in summary. Okay?
Alright, yeah.
Yeah. So like this branding is great. It's amazing. You have such an eye for this. It's on mark, but you have to kind of make it like diversified somehow. Give your brand a way to speak. Like Wander with a Dubai native. I don't know. It's not as catchy as Wander with Netta, but at least it's scalable.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Wander with the natives. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wander with the locals. Like Wander with
Yeah,
you know what I
Wander with
mean?
locals, yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great idea. I definitely think that
But keep
the
Wander with
Wonderful
Netta.
Wander.
Say the founder. The founder of this is Wander with Netta.
Yeah.
Born from my passion of wandering around this city where I was born and bred. Questions for any of us?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much covered all of the topic areas. I mean, like I said, so how I plan to take this forward is to expand the company. I do have vision in terms of making it not just a wandering with Netta, but a wandering with everyone that's a qualified person that will take people around the city and basically show them the time that they deserve, that they are spending their dollars on, and will take them home.